Hey everybody. So this is kind of a video I wanted to make to do um, a testimony of the past events. It's been quite a while since we've checked in. I think since like January or February we kind of had stopped doing the vlogs. Um, with SJ growing up and getting more and more ornery, it became a little bit harder to keep up with them. Anyway, as most of you know who watch our channel, back in April, I actually lost my job. It's a pretty tough time. It's kind of hard to describe. You know, you never think that it's going to be you, and when it happens, it's kind of surreal because, truth be told, I was pretty unhappy where I was. Most of you who know me well know that I was in a pretty bad situation. I worked for a person that I did not mesh well with, and every day when I went to work, I was just counting minutes until I could go home, and that's really no way to live. And truth be told, since really the beginning of 2015, I had been looking at other options anyway. I was considering leaving, but I have a family, so security was a lot more important to me, and that's honestly why I never pulled the trigger. And without this event happening, I don't know that I ever would have. Kind of the analogy I like to use is going skydiving. So what I tell people is I had been standing at the opening of the plane, at 10,000 feet for a long time, just looking for an opportunity to jump out. And I think I was always so scared that I'd jump out and I want to have a parachute. And when you have a family, it's important to make sure that you do what's right for them. And as awful as it was, and as upset as I was, and the hard stuff that I had to deal with, being included in the layoff actually ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. I was lucky enough that I received a nice severance package, and even luckier, I have a great group of friends and a fantastic network. And within a month of within a month of my last day at my old company, I actually had multiple offers at other companies that are very good and very competitive. And I ultimately ended up taking an offer with a new company here in Midland, Texas. So that's actually where I am currently. I'm in my new office in Midland, Texas. I've been with this new company for about 3 weeks. It's been amazing. I love my new job. I love my new company. The people I work with are fantastic. There's no competition, backstabbing, those kind of things that you would see with a larger company. And that's not to say anything bad about my former company or anybody there. But I think most of you are aware that if you work for a big corporate company with thousands and thousands of employees, that thing is kind of bound to happen. And as good as a company may be, there are always going to be pockets of bad people in power positions. And I think in my case, that's probably what happened. But nevertheless, I could go on for days about my old situation and how unfair it was that I was included as a part of the downsizing because of the downturn in oil prices. And honestly, that was the thing I worried about the most when I was let go, aside from the fact that I felt like a failure as a father and provider for my family. I felt like my reputation would really suffer, and that people who have always known me and always thought very highly of me and my intelligence and my work ethic, I thought that they would feel as though they were wrong about me, and that maybe all these years they've known me that I wasn't, as good as maybe they thought. And that was my big fear, because I think anybody who's ever worked with me could tell you that is not the case. And I still to this day, I think is, I don't want to use the wrong word, but I think it's laughable that I was even considered part of the group that were let go. And honestly, I'm not alone. There were quite a few very good people who were let go for various reasons, be it political or whatever. But again, I don't want to get into that. It was a tough time. That day specifically was one of the hardest I've ever had. But you guys know me. I'm the kind of guy that I don't like to sit and feel sorry for myself. That morning when I was let go, I actually went straight to my home office. Didn't even change my clothes. immediately started looking for new opportunities. And because I had been looking previously, I already had a very nice updated resume ready to go, and started getting on the phone, pounding the pavement. I interviewed at a number of companies, and luckily I managed to get offers from every company I interviewed with except for one. They were all fantastic offers, and ultimately I chose this company I'm at now because aside from the fact that they were offering me the autonomy and responsibility that I wanted, and I was no longer being handcuffed, because I felt like that's something I've dealt with in the majority of my career. I've always felt like I could do more, but when I looked for those opportunities, a lot of the time I was held back, and probably more specifically in my most recent role, I would say that my prior management, probably wasn't the best that I've had, and I felt like there were some personal reasons why I was included, but nevertheless, anyway, so here at my new company, it's only my third week, but already I've been able to make a huge impact. They're allowing me to do things the way that I want, allowing me to be an expert in what I'm doing, and they trust me despite the fact that I've only been here for a few weeks, and quite honestly, I'm happy. At my old job, every day when I woke up, I just wanted to hit the snooze button over and over and stay in bed and not go into work, and I just didn't enjoy it. It felt like more of a job to me rather than a career, and I was just going there to make money to take care of my family, which is fair, and at any company that's probably the case sometimes, but at that company it was that way more times than not. Now, given the fact I'm very new, even though I don't want to get out of bed, I'd like to spend the day with SJ and Jill, but I don't dread coming into work anymore. I'm happy to be here because I don't have all this red tape, and I don't have 27 levels of bosses ahead of me. I don't have to suck up to a supervisor or something, which you see a lot at a larger company, and I think that's part of the reason why I struggled there, because that's not my style. Any of you guys who know me know that I say what's on my mind, and I do what I think is right. And it gets me in trouble a lot of times because I'm pretty outspoken. And honestly, that's probably why I'm where I am now. But here, they encourage that. There are not all these levels of management. I report directly to the chief accounting officer. When I interviewed, I had dinner with the CEO. Interviewed the next day with the VP of operations. I mean, these are really high up guys at the company who have been very successful and have made a lot of money in their time, and they're really humble, good people. You would never look at any of these guys and think that guy's the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, and that's because of the way they carry themselves. And that to me was something that really spoke to me and something I wanted to be a part of. I really respect the people that I work for, and I think that that's really important. So I've rambled on quite a bit, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have gotten bored with this, but I just wanted to touch base with you. I know there are probably a lot of rumors out there and a lot of hearsay, so I just wanted to set the record straight to let you know exactly what happened and how we got to where we are today. The plan is to start doing the vlogs again on a fairly regular basis. It's a little more difficult with SJ. He's grown up a lot. You guys will see in future vlogs that he has changed so much. He's just so much fun now, but he's a little ornery. Gets into a lot of stuff, so it's harder for me to sit down and edit a vlog and so forth. Plus, Jillian actually lost her camera, the main vlogging camera, so I'm actually using my GoPro right now, which is a great camera, but not necessarily for vlogging. So my head probably looks really big because of the fishbowl lens. But anyway. Here, I'll show you around my new office. You guys know in my old situation, I sat in a pod that I shared with 4 other people, and I had no walls and no privacy, and here I am in my new office. So let me show you around here. So this whole back wall is actually dry erase, so that's pretty cool. You can see, I won't get too close, but you see, dry erase. Door. They bought a big desk for me when they saw I was coming in, big U desk, and here's the best part. Even though it's Midland and the view's not quite as beautiful as some other cities, it's pretty nice. I mean, I've got a whole back wall of windows, and there's a load bearing here, but But yeah, it's certainly a better situation than I've ever been in, and I'm happy and doing really well. So, we are in kind of a tough spot right now. We're in an apartment currently here in Midland because we actually do still own our house back in Oklahoma. So that tends to complicate things quite a bit. The market back in Oklahoma is not good because my old company laid off so many people. Unfortunately, that means there's a lot of houses on the market and a lot of other families who are dealing with what we dealt with. And until we sell that house, we really can't go and buy another house here. We could, but that would obviously be irresponsible and a waste of money. So we have an apartment. It's pretty small, about 800 square feet. And that makes it tough, with dogs and with SJ. And I feel, of course, horrible for Jillian having to deal with that. We actually even had to take Mercedes to a friend's house to stay temporarily because we can only have 2 dogs at the apartment. And that's been really hard on the other dogs. And Jill, she cries about it quite a bit and misses Mercedes. But, I think I'm able to get through it because I just remind myself that this is for the right reasons. I'm happier, and I know eventually we'll be able to sell that house, and then we'll be able to say goodbye to our old city and never really have to go back, which is a pretty great feeling. I had a lot of great memories there, made a lot of good friends, but do it for good. So if and when we sell our house, we will get out of our apartment here and buy a new house down here and start our new life as Texans. I'll never say anything's out of the question because when I left Midland the first time, I didn't think I'd ever be back, and here we are. So I won't say that I'll never live in Oklahoma again, but I will say that it's pretty unlikely where we are. We're very happy here. I'm in a much better situation, and both financially and from a work standpoint. I never thought that when I was let go that I'd be making more money. That's something that never crossed my mind, because honestly my first few offers that I got were great offers, but they were about what I made or a little bit less, and I just kind of assumed that I would have to settle for that because the market was so tough. But this company came along and a few others after that offered me quite a bit more, and now I see my paycheck and sometimes I can't believe how much they're paying me. It's pretty crazy. So I think it gives me the motivation to make sure I'm giving everything I have to this company and show my appreciation for them taking a chance on me when another company that I gave 7 years of my life decided that I was just a throwaway number at the end of the day because I made quite a bit in the group and I had only been there for 7 years, so it was pretty cheap to let me go as opposed to somebody who had been there for 30 years. And I understand it's a business and those are the kind of decisions that have to be made, but it doesn't matter how much time passes, I'm never going to agree with what they did, and I think everybody who's worked with me, especially the people on that floor, would agree that it was absolutely ridiculous for me, who I would consider to be one of the stronger people, in the group. And I don't mean to sound egotistical, but I think most people would agree with that. And despite everything I gave to them and all the times I relocated with the company and I pulled my family back and forth all over the country and did all these things and put on all the overtime, and I worked, for 14 hours the Monday after my son was born, or 16 hours the Monday after my son was born, and I worked in the middle of the night at the hospital, while he and Jill were sleeping. I think about all those things that I did that ultimately didn't matter. That's pretty frustrating to think about everything you've done for somebody, and when times get tough, you're just a number on a piece of paper. And that's what I wanted to get away from, and I am now. I can't stress enough how much different it is to be a part of a smaller company that cares more about its employees, and it feels pretty great. I'm sure the majority of you guys are good friends of ours, and boy, I can't tell you how much it meant to have you guys there in this tough time. The last couple months have been some of the most stressful I've ever dealt with. And without my wife and without you guys out there, I don't know if I would have made it. The support that I got from everybody was just unbelievable. The day I was let go, I received over 100 text and or calls from people just saying that they were thinking of me and that they knew that it was garbage that I was included, and that they knew that I would land on my feet. And I did. I did. Thanks to some great people, I landed on my feet and received 5 job offers. And I know a lot of people who were let go that also didn't deserve it, and they have not had this luck. They have not found jobs yet. Some of which haven't even had an opportunity to interview with another company, because it is a tough job market out there. It's hard. So to those people, I'd say keep your head up and don't get down on yourself, because I started to at one point. Luckily the job offers started rolling through, but even without them, there's no reason to be down on yourself. This kind of stuff happens and things do get better. Just my advice is get out there and make it happen, because nothing's just going to come to you. You can't put an application in online and just wait for a call. That's not how it works, at least not today, not in this market. You got to get out there, you got to put yourself out there, you got to make these contacts. You got to sell yourself. And if you do, it will pay off, and you'll end up being much happier in the end. I know I am, and yeah. So if any of you guys out there ever have questions, or you want advice, or you need help being hooked up with headhunters or other companies or something, please let me know. I'm more than happy to pay it forward. I had a number of people who stepped up to help me. So take care, and God bless.